Anne Frank was born on June 12, 1929 in Frankfurt, Germany. Anne Frank was the second daughter of Otto and Edith Frank. Otto and Edith were both German Jews.
Otto and Edith were both very respectful and kind people. They both taught their children to respect others. Otto Frank was in the German army during World War I. The Frank family was always friendly to others. In fact, Anne and her older sister Margot had friends of many nationalities.
Anne's given name was Anneliese Marie, but to her families and friends she was simply Anne. Her father sometimes called her Anneline or Little Anne.
The Frank family lived in a community of Jewish and non-Jewish citizens. Margot and Anne grew up with Catholic, Protestant, and Jewish friends. The Franks were Reformed Jews, which meant they observed many of the traditions of the Jewish faith without observing many of its customs.
On March 13, 1933, elections were held in Frankfurt, Germany, and Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party won. The Franks had heard about the ways Adolf had treated other people and began to fear that what would happen to them if they remained in Germany. Later in the year, Edith and her children went to Aachen, where they stayed with Edith's mother, Rosa Hollander. Otto Frank remained in Frankfurt, Germany, but after receiving an offer to start a company in Amsterdam, he moved there to organize the business and to arrange the accommodation for his family. By February 1934, Edith and Margot had moved to Amsterdam to live with Otto Frank.
Soon after Adolf Hitler won the elections, he became more like a dictator for Germany. He did not like Jews at all. He soon came up with a plan to correct the Jews by setting specific rules for the Jews and sending them to camps.
Anne's 13th birthday on June 12, 1942, Anne received a small notebook which she had pointed out to her father in a shop window a few days earlier. Anne then decided that she would use this notebook as her diary. She soon began writing in it.
In July 1942, Margot Frank received a call-up notice from Central Office for Jewish Immigration ordering her to report for relocation to a work camp. Anne was then told of a plan that Otto and his most trusted employees had come up with. Edith and Margot had been aware of this plan for a short time. The family was going into hiding in rooms above and behind Otto's Frank's company's building.
On the morning of Monday, July 6, 1942, the family moved into a hiding place. When they left their apartment in Amsterdam, they left it a mess so that the Nazis would think they were left in a hurry. Otto Frank also left a message in the house hinting that the family had fled to Switzerland.
During Anne's life in the secret annex, she used the diary that her father gave her on her 13th birthday. She used the diary to write things that went on in her everyday life in the annex. She soon named her diary Kitty. The 2 years Anne was in hiding, Kitty was one of her only friends.
At first, the Frank family was the only family living in the annex, but eventually 8 people came to live in the annex, including the Franks, the Van Pels, and an old man named Pfeffer. The families were only allowed to talk at certain times of the day. When workers were busy working in the warehouse beneath them, they had to be silent. Once all workers left, which was usually at 5:30 p.m., the families could begin to talk again. 4 people acted as the helpers for the people in the annex. They brought them food, supplies, and news of the world outside the darkened windows. These protectors had placed themselves at a great personal risk because they could have been arrested and jailed for helping Jews. All of these people worked at the business that belonged to Otto Frank. After 2 years of hiding, the Nazis finally found the secret annex and captured the families. There are a few theories on how the Nazis finally found the annex, but no one is really positive on how it really happened. Anne Frank's diary was recovered from the annex. Anne Frank went through some horrid times. She still believed that all people are really good at heart.
Everybody's screaming, I try to